So let's give them some tactical skills. So you cold call, okay? So where are you even getting these names and numbers from? Walk us through your process and we'll give them some tactical skills.
So 100% of our leads are us searching for them. So we don't pay for leads, whether it's Zoom Info or Seamless.ia or Sales Genie. We're actually going out and finding these leads.
Okay.
So they're complete cold calls to complete.
You find them on LinkedIn. Where do you find them?
On LinkedIn as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you go, you do some research, you find out who you should be calling. And when you make that cold call, so this is a straight up cold call. I want to make sure everybody understands. This is not like an outbound lead that responded to some ad on YouTube or Facebook or Google AdWords that requested information that he's calling back. These are people who have no idea who he is, have probably never heard of him or his company. And he literally is calling them and they're not expecting this call at all. Okay. So you have to understand the right skills when you do this, because if you don't, you will fall flat on your face extremely quickly, as Sean can attest to. Okay. So when you typically call, are you getting a hold of like the gatekeeper most of the time? Is it most of the time you're getting a hold of the business owner on that first call? Walk us through that.
Yeah. So most of the time it is the actual decision maker.
Yeah.
And then there's a rare occasion where I might get like an executive assistant, but the majority of time it is the actual, whether it's a CEO, CFO, controller.
Okay. Let's talk about if you get a hold of the gatekeeper. What have we taught you kind of how to say there to get them to want to engage, to get you over to the decision maker? What are you doing there? When they answer, hello, this is Amy with XYZ company.
Yeah, just basically diffusing it and asking for help instead of going into a pitch.
Yeah.
You know, most people they want to help. So you know, if you want to be treated differently, you got to act differently than people that are calling.
Well, I hear a lot of trainers and they're like, they just teach this and it works here and there, but it just doesn't work as effective as what we do with the problem statement. But they're like, yeah, is John Smith there? Hoping that they're just going to transfer them through. But a lot of gatekeepers have been taught how to do what? Does John know who you are? Or is John expecting your call? And then what do you do then? See, you kind of trap yourself there. So what do you actually, let's give them a tactical approach. Like, you know, what would you actually say specifically if the gatekeeper answered?
Well, see, luckily I don't get them a whole lot, but I would basically say, hey, I'm looking for help. You know, what do I say? Lost my train of thought.
Yeah, I'm looking for help, or I was wondering if you could help me out for a moment.
Yeah, I was wondering if you could possibly help me out for a moment. But see, I normally don't.
Oh yeah, so you mainly get a hold of the actual decision maker. So I want to give you guys this tactical advice. If you get a hold of a gatekeeper, which some of you do that cold call, this is the approach you want to do. As, you know, XYZ, it's Wanda. Hey, Wanda, Jeremy Miners, wondering if you could help me out for a moment. Sure, how can I help you, sir? Well, I'm not quite sure who I should be calling, but I was calling to see who would be responsible for looking at any possible issues with your blank that could be causing you to blank. Now, you would say that if you didn't know who you were trying to get a hold of. Like you're just calling a company, you don't know who the decision makers are, you don't know any of the information. That's the approach you take there. Now, if you know the name, you would simply say, well, you know, hey, is this, you know, hey, Wanda, XYZ company, how can I help you? Yeah. Hey, Wanda, it's just Jeremy Miners. Wondering if you could help me out for a moment. Sure. How can I help you, sir? Well, I'm looking for Jordan Dasher, as I understand that he's responsible for looking at any possible hidden issues in your blank that could be causing the company to blank. Is he available? Or can you transfer me through? So just something like that. Now let's talk about what you do. The decision maker answers the phone. What do you say? What do you ask?
Yeah, so I have two different scripts. Like one of them, I would say, "Hi, Jeremy. This is Sean, and I'm hoping that you can help me out for a moment."
Sure. How can I help you?
So I was just calling. So you get two different scripts. So the one I have information that shows me they're getting overcharged.
Let's do that one first.
Yeah. So I basically say, so Jeremy, you know, our team did some analysis and discovered that you may not be aware, but you're actually being overcharged right now by a large percentage on some of the interchange fees that you're paying out that you shouldn't be, and specifically on those cards accepted from businesses or government. You know, is that something that you want to recover those losses and prevent that from reoccurring? Most of the time, like, what are you talking about, or how do you?
Yeah, what do you mean, or who's this again, or what are you talking about? Which is good, because the problem statement is there to trigger engagement, to trigger curiosity. Not, hi, my name is, I'm with XYZ company, and the reason why I called you was click, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and so they say, well, what's this all about, or who's this again, and what do you say?
So I basically say, oh, my apologies, this is Sean with RPS Consulting. The reason I called, I tell them that we have that report showing that they're getting overcharged right now. Show them, then I would set up a call to go over, well, actually they send a statement first.
Yeah.
So they send a statement and then we'll set up a second call to go over the analysis and the savings.
And then the discovery call. Now let's pretend you don't have that information and you're cold calling. It's a little bit different. What do you say?
Right. So I would say, hey, Jeremy, this is Sean, and I'm hoping that you can help me out for a moment.
Yeah. How can I help you?
Thank you. So Jeremy, I was calling to see if you would be open to some different insights on why you might be getting overcharged right now by a large percentage on the interchange fees that you're paying out that you shouldn't be.
Yeah. What do you mean by that?
Okay. So what I mean specifically is that our team did an analysis and was able to discover that you're being overcharged by a large percentage on the interchange fees that you're paying out that you shouldn't be.
Okay. Well, I don't have time to talk right now.
That's my train of thought. I told you I'm medicated at the moment, so
that's right. Hey, I want to make sure everybody understands. So Sean literally just got back from the doctor. He went through a procedure. I think, was it late last night or early this morning?
Last night.
It was late last night. So he's actually still on medication, like heavy drugs right now. So I'm throwing in for a loop here. So I'm going to take it easy on you because I know you're kind of like all over the place. I remember going through kind of a similar procedure that you went through. And it literally took me like, I would say at least 24 hours before I felt like a human again. I was like, all woo, like all drugged up. That stuff is pretty powerful stuff they got you on for sure. Okay, so let's talk about it. So you get into the conversation. Maybe give an example of like one good situation question you ask them that gets them and you to really find out what the real situation is. Maybe an example like that.
Okay. So after the opening, if somebody says, oh, yeah, I'd be interested in that, I would say, so Jeremy, I need to clarify a few things that we weren't quite sure of. For an example, can you share with me what percentage of your credit card sales are from other businesses and government?
Yeah. And why do you ask that? I like the way that you're asking that first NEPQ situation questions, John, and I need to clarify a few things because we're not quite sure on it. See, when you say I need to clarify a few things on it, it's almost like pulling them in where they're like hoping that you can do something for them. Okay. That's why that question is really powerful there. Yeah. If you could clarify something with me that we weren't quite sure and we're just asking to make sure we can even do something for you. See, you're disarming them right there. And then you say that. And what do they typically say? How do they respond to that?
Well, they typically would answer it. Then I would go to my second situation question and then third one. And then based on what they say, I would do the transition, have them send me a statement or figure out what to do from there.
Yeah. And let's talk about that because typically when you're cold calling like that, you're going to go through situation questions, maybe some problem awareness, and then you're going to transition into scheduling an actual appointment. You're not going to try to run through everything on a first call. Very rare, unless they're just wide open. Okay. Which a lot of times you're calling them out of the blue. So they're just really busy and they're distracted. Okay. So now when you get them, so how do you transition? Walk us through how we've taught you how to transition into setting up the discovery call where they actually want to show up.
Right. And this is something that we're working on right now. So I don't have the full thing scripted out, but basically it's like, Jeremy, so based on what you told me, what we're doing could actually work for you because you know how you said, X, Y, Z and X, Y, Z, thank you to X, Y, Z. Really, the next steps would be, if it's appropriate, is I'll have you send us a recent statement and we'll have to do that analysis. Now, there's a chance, a small chance that we won't be able to save you any money. And if that's the case, we'll let you know. And then after that, we'll exchange calendars and you have a calendar handy.
Yeah. See, it's really important what Sean just did there. That's disarming the prospect. So literally he called this person 5 minutes ago, maybe 6 minutes ago at this point, somewhere in that, right? Usually it's the conversation 4 or 5, 6 minutes, and now your transition set up appointment. He has to make sure the appointment actually shows up. So if he just says, hey, I can get together with you and we'll discuss this in 2 or 3 days, and they set up the appointment, you're going to have 80% of those people that don't show up. He wants 80% to actually show up. So you're transitioning to set up the appointment and you're asking them to take a smaller commitment, smaller steps that lead to the ultimate step of purchasing what you're offering. Okay. So what you're doing is you're disarming them. Yeah. Because based on what you've told me, this is called NEPQ transition questions. Based on what you've told me, what we're doing would actually work for you because you know how you said, and you're going to repeat back their problem. What would be a problem with what you said? You know how you said what?
This one client's paying $75,000 a month in processing fees.
Yeah. You know how you're saying that you're paying sometimes $75,000 a month in processing fees? And because, so you repeat back what they said they want first. So you're saying that you're wanting to save money on your processing fees, then you repeat the problem. But right now you're paying upwards 75 grand a month in processing. And because of that, it's caused you to feel X and Y and Z. So what really the next step would be, if it's appropriate, is we would have you send us a statement that we could analyze to match up with our data, just to make sure we could actually save you money, because there is a small chance that we might not be able to save you anything at all. And if that's the case, we'll just let you know and maybe give you, send you off in a different direction. But if by chance we can save you money, we can talk about the next steps. Would that be appropriate, or how do you want to proceed? And then boom, you pull out the calendar. Do you have your calendar handy? Okay, I can pull up mine and have you book a specific time with me, and vice versa. That way you don't have to chase me down. Would that help you? And then boom, you book an appointment. Now, when you're booking those appointments, how many of those people are showing up?
Well, see, I'm pretty lucky too. And that's why I haven't trained that too much, because I don't even normally get to that point. Most people will send me a statement without even having to do a second call. And like this gentleman here, I'm saving $26,000 a month.
Yeah.
So they're on the call. So they're a lot of times asking me, when can we go over that savings? So I don't.
Yeah. So they're chasing you down.
Right.
Now, if you didn't learn how to, I guess, get them to engage and open up to you in that first minute, how many of those people do you think would really ever do anything with you?
Not many. And a lot of my success before NEPQ is just grinding it out every day.
Yeah.
I would go to work feeling like I was going to war, like I was putting on like a bulletproof vest,
Which is easier to sell? Going to war every day, getting beat up, working like your hustle muscle, going through the numbers, hoping and praying you're going to make sales? Or is it more easy to control the entire sales process from the beginning, first 2 words, to the close and make a lot more money? Like, which is more enjoyable?
You know what's funny, Jeremy? So a lot of times I've had people actually thank me on a cold call. I mean, how common is that somebody's actually thanking you on a cold call? So now that I'm implementing NEPQ, they're just more open, receptive, and people will thank me for being upfront and honest on that call.
Yeah. They're open because they view you as like an expert or a trusted authority by the questions you ask them that triggered them to engage back. Because most people who cold call, hi, is John there? Hey, John, yeah, it's Sean Jones with XYZ Company. Hey, the reason why I called you was, and do you have 2 minutes of your time where I can talk about? And then what do most people do? Oh, we already used somebody for that. We're not interested. We already do that. We've already had somebody call us. Hey, yeah, this sounds good. I'm really busy. Can you call me back in a week, a month, a year later? And then so many salespeople get frustrated and like, oh man, like cold calling sucks. Well, it's not necessarily cold calling sucks. You just haven't learned the right skills to make it really, really profitable, like Sean and our clients are doing. There's a major difference in that, because you have a product or service that helps people solve problems. Everybody on here does. But the reason why people are not buying from you is because you don't understand the right questions yet and the right tonality that triggers them to open up and engage, where they're actually throwing money at you, thanking you to solve their problems and get them the results they want that Sean has talked about. Okay. What else would you like to add today that you think everybody should know?
I would just say that if everyone's on the fence about NEPQ, I would just encourage you to invest in yourself. I mean, don't be like me. For years, I was spending so much money on trying to become better in sales, but it was the wrong information.
Yeah.
Where, like I said, I progressed more probably in the last 2 months and the last 2 years. And that was just by having the right information and the right skills.
Well, it's so true because, Michael Jordan says it best, right? The Hall of Famer. He's like, you can shoot 1,000 jump shots a day, but if your technique is wrong, if you're taught the wrong technique, you're still going to suck at basketball. The same is true in sales. You can practice all day long. You can read, 5 books a month. You can listen to, all these CDs and podcasts on stuff. But if you're learning the wrong skills, you're still not going to make more money than what you are at selling right now, or maybe you become marginally better. Look, if you want to learn advanced skills that work with human behavior, you've got to learn from people who actually know those skills and have actually been in the trenches and developed those skills and trained tens of thousands of salespeople that have gone on to make the type of money that Sean's talking about. Okay.
Jeremy, I will say this too, like in the portal, you added 3.0, like the role playing. That's been a game changer, because anytime that you can hear somebody actually doing the role playing, you're going to learn probably 10 times faster than you would if you were trying to do it on your own.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, the great part about NEPQ, advanced NEPQ 3.0 that we added, probably a year ago, and even before that, advanced role playing with Book there, is we have those weekly coaching calls with our sales trainers. One's on advanced objection handling every week. One's on advanced tonality every week. And then we added in another 7 hours of just straight role playing with clients who sell many different things. They would role play, and then I would step in their place and role play. And they're like, holy crap. And these were people that are already making 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 grand a month in commissions in tons of different industries, already doing well that are clients. And then I would role play with them. They're like, oh my gosh, like there's a complete difference. But, I've had 20 years to develop that, right? So yeah, I mean, it's so important. Once you learn the right skills, you really can do anything. You can switch from what you sell today, Sean, and you could go sell insurance and be the top person in a couple months. You could then go from insurance and sell cars and be the top person there. You could go sell, software, SaaS, or cybersecurity, or go sell rockets to governments. I mean, you could be a real estate agent. It doesn't really matter. You take the NEPQ sales structure and write the questions around the problems you solve with your solutions, and it becomes really easy to do. Love it. Love it, man. I feel like I'm missing some questions I should be asking you right now. What's one good commitment question we've taught you how to ask to really help the prospect move forward and purchase what you're offering?
Well, I'll go over the commitment here in a second. One that's been really helpful for me is a consequence question, especially when you're saving somebody $75,000 a month.
Yeah.
So Jeremy, what happens if nothing changes and you continue to pay $75,000 a month over the next 3, 6, or even 12 months?
Yeah.
What do they say? Revenue. They don't even think about it. So I work with them to try to quantify what that number is.
Yeah.
Because on a phone call, I just call them out of the blue. They're not taking it very serious. But when you can quantify what that number looks like over the year.
So what happens if you don't do anything and you keep losing the $75,000 that you're getting overcharged in fees every month?
Right.
And it's hard to be like, oh, no, I'm going to do something for sure. Okay, but why look at doing this now rather than pushing it off down the road like unsuccessful business owners would? Well, I have to do it now because of X and Y and Z, right?
Right.
See how that works? I love it, man. Dude, you're a legend. I don't say that about many people, very few people. Typically in our culture, with any client, any salesperson, we start calling them savages when they're making multiple 6 figures a year. We start calling a person a legend when they get up to $1 million a year in commission. So you got the hashtag legend, sir.
The crazy thing is, Jeremy, technically I've only been doing NEPQ for about a month and a half, maybe 2.
Right.
So that's why I said I'd like to have this conversation with you next year, because that's going to be the real indicator of the success of this program.
Yeah, I mean, already doubling your commissions from 40 grand a month to almost 80 grand a month just in a couple months is probably a little bit of a game changer as far as what you can do, for sure. I mean, even 40 grand a month is a lot of money, but now you're talking about 80 grand a month. It just gets you into a different lifestyle, like a different level, right? And that's not where you stay, right? Like with what you're doing, with what you're selling, once you keep developing those skills, because now you're in our legacy program, so you're working with me every single month, that'll keep going up. It'll go to 85, then it'll go to 90, then it'll go to 100, then it'll go to 120. You keep developing those skills, you'll go a lot higher than what you're at right now. Okay. All right, Sean, love you. Thanks for being on today. Go get better. I know you're still on drugs, man. So we'll see everybody soon. Peace. Love. Talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed these, here's another you can watch right over here. Join our free Sales Revolution group. Click the link below, join us, and we're going to help you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you real soon.